Hello, and we should be live now. Hopefully you can all hear me. If you can't, let me know in the chat and I will try and keep an eye on that. Same with levels and stuff. So yeah, hello, welcome back to DragonBorn Industries, where we're doing our first live Twitch stream where we're going to be unboxing this Warlock Tiles, Dungeon Tiles 3, the Curves expansion. I picked this up from Happy Piranha, who managed to get a few of them in, and I was like, this can really upgrade the level of dungeons that I throw at my players and people at the tabletop. And so I went and bought this. This hasn't been sent to me by Wizkids. This is my opinion on this set. I've opened up one of them to create some dungeons that I will show you shortly. However, I want to show you what's in the box first, and then we'll go on to a bit about how you can use those with your dungeon mastering and creating at your tables. So yeah, excuse the noise as I open up a box, but I'm going to open up this one and show you what's inside. So it was really nice of Happy Piranha to get these in and to let me know that they were getting them in, but I think that, yeah, there was no chance that I wasn't going to buy these. I am a huge fan of the Wizkids stuff, but only having the right-angled walls and floors and everything so far, I really did want to get the curves and the angles because it just adds more dynamics to those dungeons. So, here it is. This is what's inside the box. So, hopefully, you can all see that. That's the majority of everything, and I will get onto everything individually in there, but I will walk you through what comes in it, and there's a bit that's written on the box that tells you, but everything's of the 2-inch variety, so it matches up with Dungeon Tiles 1 and 2, and you can mix and match with those ones as much as you wish. You end up with 2 Stonewood outside curved tiles, 2 Stonewood inside curved tiles. Oh, sorry, no, the 2-inch one, sorry, but you get 20 of those, then 8 of those. The 10 of the stone exterior outside curved half walls, 6 of the stone exterior inside curved half walls, 6 of the stone interior curved half walls, 12 of the stone outside curved edge caps, and they're really cool. You get 6 of the inside ones, and then these, which alone, this makes the set worth it. For anybody who had Dungeon Tiles 1 will know that the clips that came with them were actually really hard to use, and I struggled with them. I certainly know that. And a lot of the fans of Wizkids and a lot of people who are buying them, their customers said, can we have something easier? And they came out with easy clips, which, if you can't see them, there they are. These, game changer, absolute game changer. So really happy. And like the video I did before, I did a video on the town village square. Worth it just for those alone, let alone having different tiles and stuff. But like the other dungeon tiles, you get a double-sided stone and woodwork, which I will show you just up there. So you got wood on one side, and then you get stone on the other. So very, very usable between different settings. You've got your thin walls here, which are really good for your interiors of dungeons and just building those extra rooms and such. Your flooring, which is just over here. Again, you've got that double-sided lovely wood effect and stone effect, which is perfect. And I've got some dungeons built with using a mix of those things, and we'll show you those shortly. These are your interior circular walls. These are the 1/2-inch ones, so it marries up with Dungeon Tiles 1 perfectly. And these are your exterior ones, so a little bit wider on there. Your caps, which are these things here. So what these do is go over your edge of your dungeon tile. So if you've got an open face without a wall, or you want to, have that on show, you can pop those on there like so and have it not look like, an open-ended toy, basically. It makes it a bit more immersive for those players that are looking at it side on. Because let's face it, behind the GM screen, we don't see that side of it. We're looking at it from top down and mostly looking at the dice and all the notes that we have written down. Your inside curved caps as well in there, they're more for this section here. So with the dungeon tiles, these things go together to create a 2x2 square. like so, on both sides. They marry up with each other. But what you can do is if you have that attached to something and you want a curved outside, there's also the inside caps which connect to those ones there. So you can end up with those nice inside curves, which is quite funky. I like that a lot. So that's pretty much the contents of the box, which, if you've not got the other dungeon tiles, it's pretty much a simple box as it is. I think this really is more of an expansion than it is of its own set. You can create round rooms with it quite easily. The easy clips go together quite well. I'm just going to tip those into there. So if you want to get, you know, a round room going, and I'll do it so that you've got a mix of floorings that you can see. Oh, these clips are so much easier than the original ones. Thank you for listening, Wizkids. So, I mean, that's, you know, circular floor. Then you can just add your exterior walls. And you can carry on with those. And because of how easy these clips go together, it's very quick and easy to make up rooms. It's as simple as I'm showing you here as I chat. Ah, hello, Hagley. How you doing? How quick can I make a room band of badgers? Well, there you go. You've got a 20 by 20 circular room there. So pretty quickly. So in terms of, you know, making rooms, you're only going to be able to make circles out of this particular set. However, I wanted this because I wanted to add something to my other dungeon tiles, to things that I was creating for players at my table, for streaming with other people, because let's face it, we're adults with adult money, and I like spending adult money on toys for me. Who doesn't? But I will show you what I've been playing around with today. So I'm going to move these to one side. And I will start here. So I used Dungeon Tiles 1, which is the half-inch walls with the wood and the stone floors. That one's come apart, but that's fine. Let's get rid of that. We're going to put that one across to there. And we'll show you with another camera as well. There we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that from the side and from the top. So, obviously, like with this one, I wanted to show you guys the difference between the stone and the wood. So, it's nice that with these circular bits, we can create more interesting dungeons with two sides of the tiles. So, with the little curves for the inside wall, I can finish that particular room off just there. And that's that. So what's Bandabadge saying? Do you think you'll keep them tidy in their box or do something else? I actually keep them all in their boxes, to be honest. And that's, I think, a little bit of OCD with me. I think that's kind of just how it is. But I did consider getting more of, like, you can only just see them behind here, getting big ones of those to start storing them in that possibly, so that I can make up more shelves for minis, because I'm running out of space quite fast. But the different dynamics we can add to a dungeon, you can have, you know, your basic 90-degree walls that you have here from Dungeon Tiles 1, but what I like is having those interior and exterior circles. I've used one here, which, you know, you can see the wood on one side, and then you can see the stone on the other, and then you can use these curved walls to create a semicircular room, or to create just different angles for you, your players, to make things more interesting rather than just squares on a tabletop. So I really liked the idea of doing different dungeon levels and different things using bits like that. And things like circular rooms are great for towers, but I just wanted to give something different to those things that we make. And I think that this set really has added to what I was already doing, which is great. And I think it was what Wizkids have been needing to do since they brought out Dungeon Tiles 1. And it was great that they did the half walls. I'm a big fan of that. And then they brought out the full height walls. But for me, adding extra angle, that's where it was really, really at. So that's the first one I did, which, very simple. I just used the interior walls, added a little bit of decoration, and you've got the bottom of a dungeon, or maybe the cellar inside the bottom of a manor. You can build up Hagley. So with that one, I think it's better with the Dungeon Tiles 2, I think it was, which was the full height walls, where it allows you to add things like your bookcases and your fireplaces to your rooms, but then add another layer with like the 1/2-inch walls on top. So I really did like that, but I still don't have Dungeon Tiles 2 because I haven't gone out and bought them because the 1/2-inch were fine. But I've certainly seen other creators, like Band of Badgers, who's here in the chat, and also there's a guy on YouTube and Instagram called Inked Mage, INKD Mage. He builds phenomenal buildings from the modules and ones he makes for his own players, puts them all up on Instagram, and it was actually, I think, between him and Band of Badgers that I found Warlock tiles. So that's kind of where I was to begin with, but he builds up with those. So yes, you can. And I think that that is one of the benefits to the higher wall ones than it is for these ones. Personally, for me, I've only needed the 1/2-inch walls so far because as we play, combat doesn't always happen in every single room that you have in a dungeon. So I find that if I make the dungeon into individual rooms, unless it's a full crawl and needing to like go up, I don't have to place things like glasses or flight stands to then like elevate my dungeons up. So that's the first room. And I'm pretty proud of that one. However, it didn't show much in the way of the exterior walls. So we're going to go with this one next. I liked the idea of having a room that you could maybe get to at the top of like an interesting tower or some kind of Strahd-like situation where we find ourselves at the top of Ravenloft, and a lot of that Gothic architecture isn't 90 degrees that we find with most dungeon tiles. We have those curved towers, we have curves on every wall, floors. So with this particular one, I wanted to do almost like a clover pattern. This is a 60 by 60 room where you can quite literally have the party climbing a tower, climbing a church, maybe getting to the top of the cathedral, where they then enter through a door down here, maybe to get to the top to stop a griffin that's roosted within there. And we then have a party who, here they go, off to fight the boss or off to fight their earlier adventures. But I'm actually going to switch over to that camera so that you can see it a little bit better. You like my use of foam boards? Yes, I think that because the Warlock tiles are clipped together, they can flop a bit. And I think that was quite prevalent with this particular one because it doesn't quite fit on the foam board. So if I knock that off slightly, you can see it there, it starts to flop. And if you don't have something underneath it to support that, you can end up with them coming apart, especially now with the easy clips. Although they are easier to get together, they can come apart a lot easier too. But dungeons like this, where you can use a ladder from their Ladders and Stairs extension with the exterior walls, along with the interior ones, you can create something that's just a bit more dynamic. You've got those curves in there again, a little bit of 3D printed terrain with Bell that we've 3D printed out, and you've got something again that's just different for your players. It's something that I think is important to try and bring to the table because it gives us that variety of not going, okay, we're in another square room. Yes, okay, we'll go through that door. I really enjoyed and wanted this set for that alone, to change that up. So that's what we have going on here. I also used, if you end up running out of tiles, this was a great example I found for using the interior curved walls as exterior walls. So those 2x2 floors here, where you've got the inner and outer curve, you can put those down and then put the curve in, and you end up with being able to put double curves from one corner to another corner. What I couldn't do with the exterior walls was that. I couldn't find a way to get this particular one down here to go from there and then put another one here. I had to use an exterior and an interior. But I don't know if they thought about that originally when they came up with this, or if that was the idea when they first came up with this. But it certainly works, and it works for what I needed it to do. And for that, I'm pretty happy. I'd like to see more of the curves in the sets, because I think there's a lot of empty space in that box. And although it's a very good price, I think I got it on sale for like 20 quid from Happy Piranha, who were here in Truro, which is a phenomenal price. It was a case that when I opened it and I started building these dungeons, I found that I was like 2 curves short of a full outer wall, or 2 curves short of an inner wall. So earlier when you saw me putting in the curves to the room there, I had to get them out of the box I just opened because there wasn't enough in the other one. So I'd like to see 2 extras of everything in there. Yeah, always need more curves, warrior. Yeah, so I'd like to see more, a couple of extras in there, but I don't know if that was part of their marketing to be like, well, 1 set's not enough, so buy 2. And, well, they got me. So that's fine. But that was this particular room just there, and I liked that I was able to create that kind of clover effect with the interior and exterior curves at the same time. And then I wanted to do something a little different. So, with this particular build, I was thinking about devilry and demons and dungeons at the time, and what kind of gods, tricksters, evil, lawful alignments and stuff like that. If you're delving deep down into a dungeon somewhere, you can build a room with those curves and straights, but you need something a bit more dynamic. And something I found with this particular set of curves is they go really, really well for archers and for stained glass windows. So I'm going to use this camera and get a little bit closer. With this is quite literally A4 paper that I've printed out of a generic HP printer. Ooh, is it going to last? Get some fuzzy on that camera. Oh, bad cameraman. There we go. I'm going to turn this light off. So, with a little bit of A4 paper that was printed, just a random stained glass window, a couple of LEDs, and you've got an archway, which, to be honest, I hadn't thought about doing until I considered how else I could use these. And when I was trying to think of, like, if Asmodeus had a dungeon down here and maybe there was like a stained glass window that the players have to work out a puzzle for, or maybe they have to break or get through, how could we incorporate the warlock tiles into that? So we have this stained glass window, and like I say, it's quite literally a peg, a battery, and an LED with a bit of blue tack on one side that shines through, but it's the shape that holds together well that I really enjoyed from this set. So that for me was a winner, because I was able to create something new and immersive for my players. And I think that we all delve into dungeons and we all enjoy creating real funny and or exciting puzzles for players, but to be able to give them something terrain-wise, rather than just describing the puzzle or describing the riddle, you can say, right, this is what you physically see. Here is something different that stands up. Rather than just being a flat dungeon, it comes up. So I enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, for something that was quite literally paper stuck to the back of the tiles, I thought that was a great use for these. So it's not really an extra long video that we're doing tonight, because this is just me learning how to kind of use Twitch, really, and have fun with these tiles. And I think that's the main thing about these curves, is that you can create more interesting shapes and you can use more interesting curves to create those dungeons that we want to see more of. The LEDs, Band of Badgers. So that's quite literally, I think I got these as a pack of like 20 for like $2. Well, $2 for Americans, like £2 for here in the UK. And they're little 5mm LEDs, tiny little batteries. And that's the circuit. I just held them together with clothes pegs while I didn't have my hands there. I'm going to try and find a way to incorporate some more 3D printed terrain, I believe, to try and get those hidden a bit better. Because at the moment, if I take this camera over, that is quite literally a clothes peg holding that together. Not the most glamorous, but it does its job until we're through that bit of the dungeon. So that's all that really you get inside those boxes, and a few things that you can get doing, you can do with them. But, some people have lost the stream. And yes, the warlock tiles are pre-painted. They both come pre-painted on the wood and the stone, but I do find that there is sometimes a colour mismatch between those batches, let's say. But for the cost that they are and for the amount that you get, I'm okay with that. I think that I 3D print stuff en masse as it is, but that's always going to have, every time I paint the 3D printed stuff, you are going to get a little bit of variation. So when you get the variation within the warlock tiles, I don't think it matters. I believe that they are a good product, and I'm happy to keep buying them. Like I said, these weren't sent out to me. I went out and I bought these. So I'll be getting more of them. And I think the next ones I want to get to really extend what we can do with these dungeons is probably the 1-inch ones. Just add a little extra length or girth to a dungeon, because I think it will make it a bit more dynamic. But yeah, well, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have some more unboxings and some more ideas for you soon. Cheers, guys.